1, 2, 3, 4. And I miss the count again. A moth keeps kissing the lamp like it can't learn to burn. I keep promising the night that you'll turn. You'll turn. Stay, I almost say to the quiet in the room, but it answers back in static and a late chorus. Boo, let me be the name you whisper when the lights go slow. Let me be the hand you reach for when the dark says no. If there's a door between us, I'll lean till hinges sigh. If there's a prayer hiding, teach my ribs to try. Oh, don't move, let the night decide. I'll wait till your storms run dry. The kettle ticks like a watch someone left in the sea. I pour a cup of thunder, let the steam rewrite me. Your sweater on the chair keeps the shape of a small moon, and the city rings its wet bell. Soon, soon, soon I fold the Sunday paper into paper boats, and I'll float them in the sinking air, the past to wash out. If mercy has a meter, I'll feed it every coin. Listen to the metal sing, then fail to join. Let me be the name you whisper when the lights go slow. Let me be the hand you reach for when the dark says no. If there's a door between us, I'll lean till hinges sigh. If there's a prayer you're hiding, teach my ribs to try. Count it with me, 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop the weight, hold the note, close the door. Maybe love is a chapel with the pews pulled out, just floorboards and echoes and a low stubborn doubt. I kneel in the dust where the sunlight falls thin, draw a ring in the powder and step right in. If the river in your chest keeps pulling you away, I'll learn its cold grammar. I'll wait till I fray. Say the word that breaks me, or the word that makes me stay. Either way I'm listening, either way I'll pray. Been driving these roads too long, trying to outrun my own shadow. Mama said the whiskey don't heal, but it quiets the noise for a while. I keep my pain in a coffee cup, mixing guilt with a crooked smile. There's a cross on my dashboard, hanging by a thread of string, and every turn of these tires feels like a song I ain't done singing. I got ghosts in the glove box, prayers in the ashtray, and a heart that don't know how to stop bleeding halfway. Lord, I'm drowning slow in the sound of my mistakes. Every mile's of memory I just can't shake. If redemption's waiting too late, I'm just a sinner with a song to make. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The mirror don't lie, it just stare back quiet. I see a man who lost more than he tried to hide. Tattoos and names, some gone, some living, and a ring I still wear, though she stopped forgiving. Got a Bible with burn marks, pages that smell like smoke. A promise I broke on the words I spoke. The jukebox hums that same sad key. Yeah, maybe that broken song's just me. I got faith in the dirt, dreams in the ditch, a soul too poor to ever call rich. Lord, I'm drowning slow in the sound of my mistakes. Every miles of memory I just can't shake. If redemption's waiting, it's waiting too late. I'm just a sinner with a song to make. Maybe I'll meet you when the lights go dim. Maybe forgiveness sounds like a hymn. I ain't proud, but I'm still trying. Walking this line between living and dying. Quiet arms low beneath the rain. My heartbeat sync with the 808's pain. I whisper, take what's left, make it whole. Let the chorus ride, save my soul.
This is not a test. This is not a test. This is not a test. I don't know if you can hear me. This is not a test. This is not a test.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say and can will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have them present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questionings if you wish. All right. You good, dude?
No, we're not good, dudes. We're not good. Mayday. Mayday. I have no idea what's going on. This vertical thing is really tripping me out. So I can see half of you guys with a cell phone in the back end, and then I see the other half of you without a cell phone. So it was really interesting. And then hee haw. Hey, everybody. So good to see you. Welcome in. Today is Thursday, November 13th. It is 8 p.m. Central Local Time here in Texas. How's everybody's day? You're stuck on vertical. Will the pin message let you move over off of vertical into the main? If not, you may have to go to the main page and click on it. I don't know why I even have this. Annoying. What that is. Trying to see if it clicks. Will it click over? Help you? Let's see if this. It should be pinned up there. There we go. Should be pinned up there. Let me know how that works. If you're stuck on vertical, click over to the main channel using the pinned message. If the pinned message does not work, I wish they would too, Mustang. I see you as Mustang though in this side. I can see it as. Oh no, you're right. It's not. Dang it. Rude. Let me come in and say hello to everybody that's here, if I'm able to. Jenny Jen, hello, welcome in. Nice to see you, as always. Cindy from sunny South Florida. How is your day today, beautiful? I hope you're doing well. Denise is here watching on the big screen. That sounds very scary to me. Dandy, how are you doing? You see a lot of great musicians at your local brewery. Southern Cats, hello, welcome in. Nice to see you. Ace, thank you for coming in. Nice to see you. We live in the biggest city between SLC and Denver. We pull some great musicians. I love live music. I love me some live music. Is the link working now, Denise? So good to see you, Mustang. So good to see you. You scroll on down here. Some of other. Hi, Indie Girl. Welcome in. You're stuck on vertical. Are you the me? Did it work? We may be a little bit slow tonight. Number one, I didn't plan the live a whole long way ahead of time. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to go live. And secondly, there is a lot of drama on these here streets. And so I'm going to guess that's where people are at the drama streams and not this boring old true crime deep dive into Diane Downs' back. Dang it. I tried. Come up here, sister, and show me. I tried. Negative. Not working. Okay. Allegedly, come and show me. Come and show me, sister. Oh, you got a little corgi. Oh, that's so cute. Thank you. Isn't that the cutest thing? Thank you so much. Let me unpin that message then. So do you have to do? I did, sister. There's two of me. Yes. Rubber Amata, welcome in. It's so nice to see you. Allegedly speculating. Thank you for coming over here. I know everybody was out in the drama street, so I didn't mean to pull you guys away. Hey, na banana. Yours is regular? Yeah, there's a regular one, and then there's a vertical chat. So, yeah, I'm odd. It's probably me. I probably screwed something up. My first time to do it. I guess we'll learn as we go, right? If you are stuck in vertical, go out into the main page, and there should be two options. Whichever one is not vertical is the main page. Those are your options. You did? Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not sure what the heck. What the heck, YouTube? We'll see if I get used to this. It's kind of a weird feeling. I see allegedly speculating over there in vertical, and I see Southern Cats in vertical. Indy's over there. Denise was over there. Southern Cats was over there. Jenny was over there. Ace was over there. Yeah, Dandy. Everybody's over in vertical. You deleted your vertical after stream because you were afraid of being dinged? For what? Dinged for what, love? You're in the right one now? Oh, yeah, now I see you don't have a phone by your name. I'm not feeling the best. I was bullied into having the C vaccine today, and I feel like dog. Oh, girl. I'm sorry you're not feeling well. Bullied into having it done? Welcome over. Why would you get dinged? Explain. Guys, you guys have lit the street on fire with the drama streams today. I'm so incredibly jealous. I also didn't realize that Krisha went live um, for difficult research. So, hi, Bellis. She said she was bullied. We're gonna have to talk to someone. I read somewhere. Oh, look, you can't put the same stream out duplicate. Well, what did StreamYard give it to us for? Orange Rose is over in the vertical. Hi, Orange Rose. If you guys get stuck in the vertical, just go out, go into the main channel. Click the other live. That's not vertical. Hi. Yeah. Who told you that? Dang it. I'll have to look. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okay, guys. The biggest thing that I want to talk about today is the fact that I saw this hospital interrogation of Diane Downs. And after everything that we went through during her whole parole hearing, we did not hear what it was that she said from day one. So I found on this lovely channel this Diane Downs TV channel, which I will post the link in the description when we get done with this live, that they um, went to her bedside and they spoke to her and they talked to her about what had happened. And that's what I want to go over. Then, not only that, they talked to her. No, she went and recorded her own little secret diaries. We've got two of those that we're going to review. So you have the right one now. Yeah, I see you over here. It bounces back and forth. Looks like we have 7 in vertical and 12 in the regular channel. So you do, Southern? What'd you say? Mhm. So where is it showing me? Where is it? You do. Okay. It is showing me that. Okay. I'm like, I don't know where it's showing me the chat because it's mixed together. So it doesn't show me who's first and who's when. Oh, she's about to take that chihuahua on somebody. Anna has thought she couldn't get a vaccine because of egg in it. There's no egg in it. So now she is vaccinated. Okay. All right. Misinformation. I apologize. Oh, Encycler Ramada. I mean, come on. When you schedule the live, you have to pick landscape. Oh, okay. So I have one landscape and one vertical, and you're allowed to pick landscape in the options during that time. Okay. I gotta leave it to the professionals, man. Thank you very much, allegedly speculating. I appreciate it. No, YouTube will not demonetize you for streaming in both vertical and horizontal formats at the same time. It's an officially supported feature, and many creators use it to increase discoverability. Bradicus is her full name. Okay, I digress. I was over here bitching about Diane Downs. I have to go into the back because I did download the audio and then re-uploaded it to my playlist because it was really fuzzy and weird sounding. So I really wanted to make sure that we were able to get the right content out and the right context of where we could hear what was going on. So I did re-upload it, and both of these are together. The first cover is the Bedside Interrogation, and both of these came from one came from sorry, one came from earlier in the evening when she first got there, and then the apparently the recorder went off and then it came back online. Oh man, sorry about that. Hannah Bradicus, do not look her up. She has a record 10 miles long. You're going to lay down and listen? Thank you so much, allegedly. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so very much. We love you too. Thank you. Get some sleep. Very excited to hear about allegedly speculating's move. She's only going to be a couple hours away from me. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to get to go see my friend. My friend. We're going to hang out and do all the hood rat things that you do with your friends, whatever those may be. You're all very amazing and supportive. Thank you all for supporting Hio and myself. Thank you very much for that. Mustang said, good to see you, allegedly. Not allegedly good to see you, but allegedly speculating good to see you. All right, let's get these pulled up here so that we can see so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Has anybody watched these already? This is from the early hours of the time between what happened to the children and the time that her arm was wounded. She made it to the hospital, to Mackenzie Williamette Hospital in Eugene in 1983, May of 1983. And she had a wound in her left arm, and her 3 children were critically wounded in the car. We did do the 2025 parole hearing series. So if you haven't seen that, go back and check that out if you would like to. We did 5 parts. Yeah, get your popcorn ready, Hannah. Definitely putting out a trigger warning. I'm also going to run this banner for just long enough to let you know that this content falls under fair use for purposes of entertainment, criticism, commentary, and research purposes. All opinions on this channel appear on this panel are mine and mine alone. If you have opinions out there in the world, those opinions will remain yours. And I'm not responsible for what you think. I'm also not responsible for what you think of me. But either way, I'm good. He's a dork. She's dork. She's just stupid. Are you? I'm learning everything Diane Downs from just going over it with you guys, which is an amazing opportunity for me to educate myself about something important other than drama. Because, girl, I've been falling into it. I just want to watch it. I have to go live so I don't watch it. And then I go and I end up catching up on the drama because I can play it at 2 times speed. I know that's right. If you disappear, you fell asleep. Hannah, you need to take care of you and you first, okay? Please make sure that you're okay. We will be here. This playlist will be here. Everything will be okay. All right, darling? Her children were critically wounded in the back of the car. One of them um, actually had passed away, and the detectives quickly realized that her story wasn't really matching the physical evidence, the timeline, and her behavior at the scene. So Diane claimed she could barely move and she was in shock, but investigators would go ahead and speak with her at her bedside, believing that the hospital setting would maybe lower her guard and allow them to question her before she could craft a more polished narrative. Ugh, little did they know. For Hannah, I feel bad, but it's for her own good. Not the snail, Jenny. That's the cutest thing ever. Hi, Lisa. I will likely be quiet, but going to try to watch. Okay, no worries at all. We are going to be here. And like I said to Hannah, if you need to lay down, do whatever you need to do. I came on a little later tonight, so this stream will be here if you wake up in the middle of the night and want to rewatch. We will be here. So the time frame for the first bedside interview was just a couple of hours after the shooting on the 19th. The first conversation was meant to gather just the basic facts from her, some stuff that, for the sheriff's office, for Lane County Sheriff's Office, and specifically her interviewer, which is Doug Welch. Uh, he saw there were a lot of issues from the very beginning. She calmly described the bushy haired stranger, which we've heard, waving her down on Old Mohawk Road. She claimed he shot the children while she fought him off. Her tone was detached, which we've known for the last 5 episodes that that's kind of Diane Downs in particular, and she has very little emotional fluctuation in her voice, which lends to the detachment that they feel. Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate you. Squirrel, squirrel, your internet is acting like you feel. We will get better. Oh, dang it. Orange, did you make it over here, Orange? Over to the main side? Okay, gotta drive. I'll be listening back in half an hour. Abellis, okay, you be careful, please, driving on these streets. It's 8:30 here. Isn't it a little later there for you? Squirrels, donkeys, wizards. Hannah says, be safe, please. The detectives noticed that she never asked her children were alive. That's one of the first things she noticed, or the first things they noticed from the beginning. 6:30. Oh, okay. Yeah, it was dark here at 6:30. Her timeline is fuzzy. The speed that she said she drove contradicted the medical calculations of the children's internal injuries. And the interview set the tone for everything that's followed. Investigators sensed that she was being performative and not reactive. So we'll go over that one first. The second one is going to be from May 20th, and that's just between Detective Welch, Doug Welch, and Detective Dick Tracy, which we also did hear about in her parole hearing. Diane's story starts shifting even just the next day. Just the next day. 6:30 and raining a little, all good. Already, it's been dark all day. Honey buns. My husband brought me. Actually, shh, don't tell him. I didn't tell him, but I went and got his Butterfinger out of the freezer, and I've been gnawing on it since after dinner. Little by little, this Butterfinger will take me 3 days to eat, but I'm gonna eat it because it is delicious. I know us chunky girls know how that goes. You just stick that Butterfinger in your pocket, run out from the. He puts it in the freezer. Think you're gonna hide it from me up there? Mm-mm. Nope. Does that come up in both? Oh, fried gizzards. I'm not a fan, but each to their own. I will eat a little liver and onion, and when I say a little liver onion, I mean I'll eat the onion and one piece of liver one time a year. That's it. That's all you'll get out of me. Annabelle's. You're expecting rain tomorrow through Monday. Fried wizards. You guys are funny. All right, so the audio is cleaned up, and if it is too loud, let me know. I will turn it down. The first one has the captions set, and then the second one, I actually had to set the captions myself. So we will see how it goes. Let me move Wiz out of the way so that you guys can see the full effect here. I'm sorry, Wizard, you're going to have to go for today. I'm sorry, I miss you already. All right, before we get started, make sure you got your popcorn, your drinks, your beverages, your bathroom break. I'll deliver a pizza, and then we're going to get started. All right, here we go. Be right back. Okay, be careful. It's a kid religion to eat liver. It's expected to rain until March. Whoa. Basil won't let me sleep. He keeps digging in my hair, rubbing his chin on my cheek, giving kisses. He says it is time to get up and play. You streamed all day. Get up. Yay! I'm here. You may proceed. Thank you very much, Orange. I was waiting for you. Grab all of your snacks and your pizzas. For predicted snow at the weekend, it will be -3 Celsius or 27 degrees Fahrenheit here, and you can keep that weather right over there with you. As a matter of fact, send that weather to Scotland. You love pizza? Steve, I love pizza. All right, let's get started.
Are you afraid now? Are you scared?
Before we even get started, I do have to let you know that I do have to stop for commentary. So if I butt in, that's what we do over here, then we're just going to be commentating. Do not hesitate to put out your opinions, and I'll be glad to stop and put those on the screen as well. And like I said, let me know if it's too loud.
This is Detective Tracy, Wayne County Sheriff's Office, and present in the room is Detective Welch, and did you say your name?
Elizabeth Downs.
What's your full name?
Elizabeth Diane Downs.
What's your date of birth?
August 7th, 1955.
What's your address?
1352 Q Street in Springfield.
Telephone number?
726-9667.
The date today is May the 21st. The time is approximately 14:04 hours. And this conversation has to do with case 83-3268.
Curious Christine, so nice to see you this evening. In 1983, I was a junior in high school, and this happened in my town. My boyfriend's mom was a nurse at the hospital caring for kids in general, or for her children. What an amazing memory. Abellis, stop texting and driving. Hio won't write here. I told y'all I would give her address. Dox her. Restarted devices. I don't know what crazy stuff is going on in here. Looks like YouTube is different too. I can't see all chat. Sorry if I seem absent. It's the devices and YouTube. No, sweet pea. Now I'm going to tell you a secret. You have a little phone by your name, which means you are in the vertical chat. It is not you, it's us. So if you are in the vertical chat, what you can do is back out, go to my page, to the main page, and come into the other live. So apparently, me trying to put in the link over there and pin it is not working. So come on over. Come on over. You're in a vehicle? I believe you. Oh, for her kids, for her children. What a great memory. Not good, but you know what I'm saying. What a great memory to have for you. Saw a documentary about texting and driving. Oh yeah, no, I don't think Abellis would text and drive. All right, let's get started.
Um, okay, we don't have to be quite so formal now. I just want that introduction. Diane. You go by Diane.
Diane, yeah.
You said you have an aversion to tape recorders anyhow,
Yes,
right?
I do.
Okay. Well, the reason we're taking this is because when we took the original notes in the emergency room there, I don't know that I got everything that you had to say, because you do talk quickly and
Yeah.
have a lot to say, and it makes it much easier doing it this way. Diane, for the folks of the tape recorder, Diane's in a hospital bed, room 319, has a fractured,
Shattered
shattered.
radius.
Is it the radio?
Radius and
Oh,
muscle damage.
The first thing I notice off the bat that is reminiscent already of our time spent in the parole board hearing is how she already corrected the police officer in the first minute and a half. He said broken, she says fractured. She wanted to make sure that he got it right. She wanted to make sure he got it right. Let me go over here. One of these two is the vertical chat, and I'm trying to figure out where's Lisa's at. Somebody go and get Lisa. Okay, there's the regular one. Yeah, because she can't see the rest of our chat. I wish it would let me, like, type main or something, vertical or something in there to let me let you guys know. I'll get better at this, I promise. This is my very first one with this regular and vertical chat, so please forgive me. I'm so sorry. The easiest way to do it that I know of is to go out and go back in through the main one. I'm so sorry. And there you go. Rubber is posting it as well for Lisa. Thank you.
Damage.
Didn't affect the owner, the big,
The radius is the big one. We were wrong.
oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought it was,
I did too.
the left arm. I don't know, are you ready to go through, try to recall all these events again?
Sure.
Okay, why don't you take from the top? I guess we could start back on the 19th. That's
Was that
Thursday,
Thursday?
right? When you got up and go right
From the beginning of the
from the
day?
beginning of the day.
Oh, okay. I got up at 5:15, took a shower, fixed my face, got the kids up at 5:45, and they got ready and went to Grandma's house at 6:15. And
Okay, just want to make sure it's going.
okay. I went to Grandma's house at 6:15. I'd leave the kids there so I can go to work. I leave at 6:30 to get to work by 7. The kids have breakfast there, and the girls walk to school, and she watches Danny all day. And I left at 6:30, went to work. I had a cake that day. I'd made a bundt cake the night before for the guys at work, and I cut it.
So I thought that was interesting when I first saw this too. I had cake that day. I made a bundt cake the night before for the guys at work. She doesn't say for everybody at work. for the people at work. She specifically says for the guys at work. I thought that was telling. No, that's just my opinion. It could be a nothing burger, but I thought that was telling.
Piece for the kids and my parents and left it there that morning. And I got the cake to work, and one of the guys said, well, it looks like the piranhas already got to it. And they were referring to my kids, and I said, yeah. And so I did my work that day, did my job. We had the cake at break and all that. And I got off at 3:30, not quite 3:30. I got off a little bit earlier, but I hung around and talked to the guys for a while. And then I left the office at 3:30 and got to my parents' house. I sat around and talked to my mom for a while. We got company. More flowers. Thank you. I'll take the card and you can set them over there. Thank you very much.
So from the very, very beginning, she's still sitting in the hospital bed, and this is just a couple of hours after she brought the children in. I can already, I mean, I think it's a telltale sign already that it even slipped my mind just hearing her. One of her children are dead. And she just laughed about the cake and the piranhas and talking about her children getting into the cake that she brought at work. That does not sound like a devastated mother to me in any way whatsoever. That's crazy. Now, not only that, but I heard her say just now that they could put the card over there. So within a couple of hours, somebody's sending her flowers and cards to the hospital? That's pathetic. She really either had the great charisma that we're missing, or she really is just that POS that we know that she is. Remember, she started that job early April. This happened in May, so she got to baking those cakes quick. She was baking that cakes for Knickerbocker. She wasn't baking those cakes for all the boys. It is insane. I think there are 3 still there. Maybe they are okay. I hope so. I think they'll be okay. I really appreciate you, Rubber. Thanks for looking out over there. Feral kitty. Exactly. Gross. Ugh. I think that you should go sit in the corner now. Thank you very much.
That is not correct. Because according to the encyclopedia of...
So I got to my parents' house, and I think we sat around and talked to my mom for a while, and Sherry went out and cut me a couple roses, and she cut one for Christy too. And then we left. We didn't have supper with my parents that night. We went home because my mom and dad were going someplace, I think, some kind of meeting.
While I'm chewing on my Butterfinger while we're paused, is that symbolic at all? That they cut roses only for Christy? What do you guys think? Hey, Whitney, welcome in. Yeah, definitely Psycho. Definitely a Sarah Boone.
So we went home, and Cheryl went over, and that day she had asked I'd finally consented to let her keeping a cat, which she wanted to get from the neighbor lady. And so she went over and got the cat, and the lady brought over the litter and the litter box and all that stuff, and told me what she ate and all that good stuff. And then we did all that, and I talked to a girlfriend from back home, told her about all the stuff we've been doing, how we usually go to Hendricks Park, or the river at least every day, that we were going out to see a girlfriend. Well, that day I had found a newspaper clipping, well, a couple days earlier, I found a newspaper clipping in the paper about this adopt a horse thing. So you could adopt horses, and it was going to be Saturday and Sunday, so I wanted to get it out to her before then, because she wanted to adopt a horse.
And pull it out and see if you need.
Sure. I was going to wait, but yeah, it's just, yeah. Oh,
What was she gonna wait for? Wait, I gotta go back just a little tiny bit. That day, I had found a newspaper clipping. Well, a couple of days earlier, I had found a newspaper clipping in the paper about
days earlier, I found a newspaper clipping in the paper
the
about
horse.
this adopt a horse thing. So you could adopt horses, and it was going to be Saturday and Sunday, so I wanted to get it out to her before then, because she wanted to adopt a horse.
Pull it out and see if you need.
Sure. I was gonna wait, but yeah, just, yeah.
Do you want to pull it out so you can read it? As in, do you want to pull out the advertisement or the paper that she was going to bring to Heather? Is that what I'm surmising? Maybe? Don't lay a finger on my butterfinger. Cindy, hope you're keeping warm. So they didn't go to the store for the cat stuff like she said. The lady gave them everything. She lies about stuff that doesn't even matter. Yeah, and she can't keep it straight. She can't keep it straight. That's good. I'm going to write that down. I had forgotten about that. Great point. Let's see if she ever mentions going to the pet store. I also recall her, it's an adopt a pet thing, right? And she said that she could get her friend this horse for free. See if she mentions anything about that either. Or also, or as well, or whatever. How could she form a sentence after finding out her child is dead and the other two are seriously injured? She's taking it as if, yeah, she's talking as if nothing happened. That's what they noticed from the beginning is that she doesn't have any. I mean, she was detached. She has no emotional fluctuation in her voice whatsoever, at all. It warmed up a little bit.
Oh, I know. I'm feeling Brandon King. He was one of my supervisors. Yes,
I have no idea what time this is, but it does literally say the first bedside interview was just hours after the shooting. They already had time to get to know know that this lady was at the hospital and bring her flowers and a card. How? How? I don't get it. Very disassociated. Her children meant nothing to her. Her ex said she was a terrible mother. I tend to agree with them. This is ridiculous.
so, okay, then, so I took the newspaper clipping and the kids were out playing and I finished talking on the phone, finished cleaning house and doing the dishes and all that stuff, and we took off. About 9 o'clock or 9:15 or something like that. I don't know what time it was. It was still light. And we went out there. She lives out in Marcola on Sunderland Road. And we went out there. And I knocked on the door and told her about the clipping. And she says, oh, well, have I got a surprise for you? Come on out. So we went out there. She already had a horse. She
Whoa, 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 whoa. Really, bitch? Really? Now, she doesn't mention this in later times. I didn't hear her say that at all in anything in the parole hearing that she said there was already a horse there. Once we go back through the other interviews, we'll have to see if she says that. So, the adopt a pet, and she said she already had a horse. And I was wrong. It wasn't her pulling out the ad that she was taking to Heather. What it was is that she was pulling out the card that her bosses sent her. So I was mistaken. Not everyone deserves kids. Be careful who you have children with. Girl, say that loud. I know that's right. If you want kids and someone seems like they would not be a good parent, just walk away. Love won't make them a good parent. That unless you're willing to raise them by yourself. And in these days, that's hard to do.
just gotten it a couple days earlier. Same day I found the newspaper article, as a matter of fact. And so she went ahead and took the thing, the paper, I guess. They considered still adopting a horse. But anyway, she took it. But we stayed and the kids fed the horse grass and fed the horse and stuff like that. And then we left. And we went back out Sunderland Road. And like I said, we like to just cruise around and see stuff. We're new to the area and the kids love the scenery and the trees, and they like to watch the rapids and the water, the river and stuff like that. We just liked enjoying stuff like that.
It was nighttime, wasn't it? Wasn't it evening? This crazy lady.
So we just went out cruising around and we drove around and I ended up going down this other road, this off road, which is called
Exactly, content. So nice to see you.
Old Mohawk Road or something like that. So I just took off down there and got down a little ways, and there was a guy standing in the road waving his arm. He was not like on the white line, but he was in the center of my line. So I stopped and got out and asked him what was the problem. And because it looked like he needed something, he was frantic. And so he came over to where I was and he said, "I want your car." And I said, "Gee, I'd be kidding. I mean, how many people really do that in real life? They don't." And he pushed me back and he fired into the car so many times. God, it was horrible. And my little girl raised up in the back seat. She's the only one that raised up. And
Which one is that?
That's Chrissy. She's the one that's still here. And
Wow. It was Christy. She's the one that's still here. Wow. Yeah, trigger warning, guys. Some of this might be hard to hear because she's a total see you next Tuesday. From jump, man. From jump. She did not care one iota about what had happened to her oldest daughter. We will never know what happened in that car that night. If her daughter said something that triggered her, or if it truly was just, I've got to get rid of you because of the boyfriend thing. Yeah, the one I failed to kill. Yeah. If you experience trauma but can't recite in detail everything that happened. Yeah, red flag. It's gross.
she raised up and she had such a look of terror or confusion or something. I don't know. There was just a look I'll never forget, but I can't describe. And then she fell back on the seat.
The look of complete terror because she's looking in the eyes of her mother as you are raising a firearm to your child and firing and shooting them. What do you mean? It's a look I can't describe. You know, terror or something. I don't know what was wrong with the kid. Okay, thank you so much for hanging out, Rubber. You do what you got to do, okay, sweet pea? And she said confusion. That baby wasn't confused until you shot her.
She grabbed at her chest. And it was just so that, and then
Oh my! It was just so dead on.
let's see, she grabbed at her chest. And it was just so,
It was just so dead on. What does that even mean? I'm I don't have any words. I'm like, I don't even know what to say. Like, no emotion whatsoever. Yeah, please protect your peace. Make sure you take a break when you need to. How many women are out there just like her that we don't know about? Yeah, you're totally right, Whitney. That's crazy. And there's got to be more, right? Why would she be looking at her mother when the gunman was right there? If Diane Downs was outside the car, the gunman leaning in to shoot, it isn't making sense to me. Because it's not true. Because it's not true at all. Because you're not insane. You're not dumb. You know what I mean? You see it for what it is. Right? Like what? Whitney says, peace and love to everyone. First, she got out and got the gun out of the trunk. She had time to think about what she was going to do. And the other part of that process is that her children were asleep or pretending to be asleep. I mean, because God knows if she was like yelling at the little girl in the front, then the two in the back were just like, hush, hush, keep it quiet, don't let her know we're awake. I mean, we'll never know. We'll never know. I mean, we're going to go through as much of interview with her daughter that we can find. But the fact is that she gave that little girl a stroke, and she was bleeding out almost to the end of her life, the end of the thread of her life, by the time she strolled into the hospital driving as slow as she was. Sounds like cognitive overload, and that's why those words were such a poor choice. How can you say dead on? Yeah, yeah. I believe she planned it. In my opinion, I believe she planned it as well. I don't think there's any other way to look at that. And I cannot wait to go over the secret recordings with Robert with you guys. And don't forget, she was jamming to Hungry Like a Wolf. Yeah, pathetic waste of space.
That, and then he turned to me and he goes, "I want your car." And I was just aghast. I didn't know. I mean, I had to do something, so I begged throwing the keys to distract him because he was a little bit bigger than me, not a whole lot, but a little bit. And I knew I couldn't beat him up in a fist fight, and he had a gun anyway. And I figured if I could distract him, if I could just draw the attention away, I could shove him and get the hell out of there. Sorry about my language recorder.
That's all right. So,
And so I kicked him with my knee sort of and shoved him.
Listen, Hobag, your child is dead, and you're worried about saying a cuss word. Get over yourself.
And well, as he was swinging around, when I threw the keys, he swung around and he shot a couple times. And one of them caught me in the arm. And it didn't even hurt. It felt like somebody had squeezed me, and that's all. It didn't even hurt. But I knew I'd probably been hit. At least
Oh yeah, it didn't even hurt. You know why? Because she's a superstar. She is like Hulk. Everything was fine. She's great. She's the star of her own show. All freaking ready. It hasn't even been 10 minutes into this first interview and she's already the star of her own show. She's gotten cards and flowers. She's giggling with the interviewers. She has no remorse or no inflection in her voice of pain whatsoever. And she got shot and it didn't even hurt.
physically I was hit. Whether he hit me with a bullet or hit me with a gun, I was hit somehow. And I shoved him, I jumped in the car, and we took off. I put the key in the ignition and took off. And if he fired after me, I have no idea because Chrissy was laying in the back seat just choking on her own blood. I kept telling her to roll over on her stomach so that she was drowning. She just
Oh my god. I should put a better trigger warning because some of this is going to trigger some of you. Some of us are smart enough not to buy into her bullshit, but just in case. Trigger warning, people. If blood and stuff like this and the descriptions make you woozy from a freaking idiot woman who doesn't give a shit about the children she just shot, then, you know. She said she threw the keys like she was acting like she was going to throw the keys and then pushed him out of the way, put the key in the ignition, drove off and the door closed itself. I don't think it was her first planet either. Planet. I don't think it's her first planet, but I don't think it was her first plan. It's definitely not this bitch's first planet. Yeah, it does. It makes your stomach turn when you think about the fact that she's just like doesn't care. She doesn't care. How can you so nonchalantly think about that and say it out loud? Like I told her to get on her stomach. Like she did something wrong. Yeah, exactly. Lights, camera, action. She had a beach towel conveniently in the trunk to wrap around her wound, but not her children's wounds. Not the same, but she says she faked throwing the keys. Yeah. Roll it back just a little bit because I was really taken aback by what she said. Not too far, okay? There we go.
put her hit me with the gun. I was hit somehow. And I shoved him, I jumped in the car, and we took off. I put the key in the ignition and took off. And if he fired after me, I have no idea because Chrissy was laying in the back seat just choking on her own blood. I kept telling her to roll over on her stomach so that she was drowning. She just drowning in it. Cheryl was on the floor, not making a movement or a sound, and Danny was in the back seat, just crying so soft. So, Mom, so soft. And I just I kept saying how much I loved him. I told him, don't worry, we'll get away. I said, we got hurt, but we're going to be okay. I kept telling Krista to roll over on her stomach, and I was driving as fast as I could. Danny kept moaning, and I couldn't stop. If I'd stopped to roll Christy over on her stomach, she would have just in a panic rolled back, and I'd have lost 5 seconds. And 5 seconds is a lot, and I couldn't stop it. So I just kept going.
Wow, that's so much in there. That is so much right there. Exactly. Where's their fucking trauma telling the story? None. None. You would have tried to bandage the child and not yourself? Absolutely. Freudian slip, she is definitely not human. Yeah, she's from another planet. Yeah. She drove as slow as she could. Yeah, exactly. From everybody's account around the place, she just, from everybody that saw her driving to the hospital, thought oh, she was driving very slow. She couldn't stop, but she only drove 7 miles an hour. Exactly. 5 seconds is a lot when you drive as slowly as possible. Disgusting.
And we got out to the end of the road, and we got out on the Mohawk, that bridge out there on Mohawk. Yeah, we got out on Marcola Road, the bridge that goes over the McKenzie, and Christy stopped choking.
So freaking nonchalant. Allegedly speculating says, I had to get up to do the morning coffee thing. I was thinking about how that song, Hungry Like a Wolf, has forever traumatized that child now. Oof. There's a witness who was who saw her on the road. Oh, behind her on the road. I have a song like that. The one that like I can feel it coming in the air tonight terrifies me. I have no idea why. Really? Interesting. That's very interesting. I will not tell you then that is one of my favorite songs in the entire universe. I won't tell you that. And I definitely won't use it against you to terrify you. We will hypnotize you and we will figure this out. I'm so sorry, allegedly. You and some of those hidden traumas hurt my heart. Never hear the song the same again. Probably won't listen to it. Yeah, I wouldn't either. I don't think I liked it to begin with. I don't like Duran Duran. I didn't like them in the 80s, 90s, or 2000s.
And I knew that meant her lungs weren't working anymore. She wasn't breathing. I just kept saying, God, do what's best. If they gotta die, let them die, but don't let them suffer. I kept going. We got to the hospital. My arm was sort of starting to hurt a little bit. I grabbed a towel and wrapped it around. I don't know what. The towel was maybe beside me. I don't know where it was exactly. We had been to the beach the weekend before, and it was a beach towel. The only one that got left in the car.
Kate, when did you wrap that towel around?
When I was driving, because it was starting to drop.
How far down the road?
I don't know. I don't know.
What? She knew that meant that her lungs weren't working anymore. She wasn't breathing. Her daughter wasn't breathing anymore. There's no way I would have stopped anywhere or done anything except for my pedal to the metal, man. If you've got to let them die, but don't let them suffer. I mean, on paper, written down, it looks like that might be a little bit of a maternal thing, right? Like a mother pleading for mercy from our God, our Savior. But psychologically, that's not even compassion. She's performative from the beginning. She wants to control everything and emotionally distance from the beginning. When people say something like this in a time of crisis, isn't it like, wouldn't you think you would be in like deep distress? Like in fear? You're bargaining your children's life with our Lord and Savior? But you have like a stage ready performance for the interrogators? I'm the kind of mother that would put my children first. It's crafted, dramatic, performative, all of that. And more importantly, she said all of it while not even displaying any genuine fear, any panic, or any sorrow whatsoever in her voice. Instead of wrapping the children, she wrapped herself. You just look right here. It says she wasn't breathing anymore. One wasn't making any sound whatsoever in the floor from the beginning. The second one is in the back. Her lungs weren't working anymore. She wasn't breathing either. The third one's in the back moaning, "Mom!" You're shot in the arm. You're driving, but you can wrap a towel around your arm? She had to drop off the horse article first. Oh, sorry, content. Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. You don't beg God to take them from you. In my opinion, you would pray to God to get to the hospital as fast as you could so that they could save your children. Please don't let them suffer. Let them be saved. Always, always verify. Always verify. You look anything and everything up. That's the only way we can keep each other straight out here. Nobody wants to spread information at all. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Do that. Mm, mm, mm. If you've got to let them die, it's like so part of that psychology that so much part of that psychology that we've talked about the last couple of days. She almost frames it to the police as if it's a choice that the hospital staff is going to have to make. Not something that not a choice that she made because they were shot. Not she let them die, but they might let them die. You're not a bystander, sweet pea. You shot them. That this is the whole thing that she still has had for the last 42 years. Simulated empathy, right? She simulates how she thinks that you want her to act. As long as you're looking at her and seeing her in the light that she wants you to see and seeing the empathy that she wants you to see, then she's the star of the show. She's got it. The words are emotional, but her demeanor isn't. Not at all. In here in the notes, the detective said that she did not display any sense of panic, real panic, any urgency, or any devastation before or after saying anything that she did during these interviews. There's a Macklemore song, Thrift Shop. It was playing all the time when I was pregnant with, ooh, hypermesis gravidum? Is that something that I should know? I have to look that up. And now, anytime I hear that song, I get nauseous. I can't even say that word, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you're affected by that song if you hear it play. That's terrible. And that happened while you were pregnant and the effects were lasting, huh? Hyperemesis gravidarum. Hyperemesis gravidarum. Welcome back, Abellis. Got to get ready for tomorrow. Getting your new dryer. Getting a new dryer. That's always exciting. I think she understands that the suffering of her children makes her look bad. So as long as she distances herself from the perception that she did it, she'll be okay. Same thing as always. Same thing as always. Hey, Edith, nice to see you. Yeah, yeah, almost the same as morning sickness, but now it stays with you after you've had your children. It's crazy. Yeah, I can't imagine way worse than just morning sickness. I do not wish that on anybody. Okay.
Working anymore. She wasn't breathing. I just kept saying, God, do what's best. You know, if they gotta die, let them die, but don't let them suffer. I kept going, we got to the hospital. My arm was sort of starting to hurt a little bit. I grabbed the towel and wrapped it around. I don't know what, the towel was maybe beside me. I don't know what it was exactly. We had been to the beach the weekend before, and it was a beach towel. The only one that got left in the car.
Kate, when did you wrap that towel around?
When I was driving, because it was starting to drop.
How far down the road?
I don't know. I don't know.
Down the bridge?
It may have been at the bridge where I had to stop for a stop sign. I don't recall, honestly, I don't know.
Hi, Ace. I see you over there. I see you over there. If you're stuck in vertical, what you can do is you can back out and then come over into the regular live. And I pinned the comment that Rubber gave to us so that you could get over here into the regular live if you'd like to. No, you're fine. I'm glad you're trying to relate it to what she's saying about her kids. Yeah. Trying to relate it to Diane and her poor kids forever having the song effect with them. Yeah, I understand that. Southern Cats, I don't see you. Southern Cats, are you stuck over in the vertical? Hi, Lisa.
I didn't stop before that.
No, I didn't. I just kept going until I got to the end of the road. I didn't stop at all. Which is ridiculous because he was on foot and he couldn't catch us, but I just didn't stop. But I had to
What's
stop
funny
because the
about
cars
that?
coming and I didn't want them to hit us. That's all we needed was that a car wreck when Christy's already suffocating.
So
So has anybody noticed how she says nothing except for nothing about the child that she actually did kill up front, except for that she wasn't moving from the very beginning. And she is saying, Christy was this, and Christy was that, and Christy was this, and Christy was that. But she absolutely 100% distances herself from her oldest child like it didn't even exist. Like she doesn't even exist. You're over here now? What's irregular about? Stoic, so nice to see you. Yeah, this lady is she's not our friend. She always says she got them there on time. They were all alive when they arrived, she says. I can't remember if Cheryl was still alive. She was not. She was not. It did work. We see you over here. You're over there. Just saw a long police escort like leaders get. Who's in town? Hmm. Hi, Jenny. You will get cognitive dissonance from trying to think of Diane Downs as a mother.
really,
At some point, I grabbed the towel and wrapped it around the arm.
but what I mean is that that's about the only stop you had to make. Or did you stop
No,
the signal?
I had to stop at 2 stoplights. I mean,
Did you go on the freeway
Yeah.
down that
No.
way or out Marpole Road? To,
Marpolo, just followed the Marpolo Road out to the mall.
did you?
And there was a stoplight there, but it was green, so we went on through it. And then we had to stop at one stoplight on the way there. So maybe it didn't take us that long to get here. It just seemed like it took forever because she wasn't breathing anymore. It just seemed like it took forever. So maybe it didn't take that long. But anyway, so I got to the hospital. I laid on the horn. I wanted to grab my kids up and run in, but I couldn't. My arm was starting to hurt. So I laid on the horn. Some lady came out very indignant and flustered, having somebody doing such thing in hospitals. And I told her to get the hell in there and get somebody out here to get my kids.
Give me a freaking break. Give me a break. Hold on here.
So maybe it didn't take that long. But anyway, so I
So I got to the hospital. I laid on the horn because I wanted to grab my kids up and run in, but I couldn't.
Got to the hospital. I laid on the horn. I wanted to grab my kids up and run in, but I couldn't. My arm was starting to hurt. So I laid on the horn. Some lady came out very indignant.
So I laid on the horn, and some lady came out in a very indignant fluster. How many of us talk like this in our regular lives on the daily? You're actually intelligent? I believe you. Constantly dodging responsibility, always trying to prove she tried. Yeah. Like the hospital staff or butlers or valet drivers. Well, it's simple. Like she thinks this is like a throwaway sentence, but when you unpack everything like we do in this case with Diane Downs, it exposes several layers of her personality. First of all, she's extremely defensive from the second she pulls up, and she has to frame herself in a way that makes her look like the decisive hero because she's laying on the horn. She took action. She's the one who's in control. Good night, sweet pea. See you soon. Her arm hurt. Yeah, exactly, Jenny. Get some rest, allegedly. She wants to be the hero, the one that took the action, the one that stays in control. She's been this way from get. I cannot believe this. She doesn't focus on the trauma at all. Her children are shot, they're bleeding, they're dying in the back. She's emphasizing how she performed a sense of urgency in order to get them out here. I was desperate for help. And look how efficiently I handled this crisis. I was laying on the horn, and this nurse was just so rude. Classic narcissistic framing. Classic. The emotional part of her, it should have been centered on her children, and it was not. She sees the woman who came out to help her as over the top in that moment. There's no way I would have been focused on any nurse's indignant fluster in that moment. And in that moment, you still feel superior to the people who are trying to help you. And then she's going to use humor to distance herself from the situation again. I'm going to say something, trigger warning, because this is going to it's going to upset me to say it out loud, but I'm telling you right now, in a true emergency, especially when it's involving your children, you do not critique the emotional reactions of strangers. Good night, Indy. Sleep sweet. You are laser focused on your children. The day that I woke up and one of my children were needing to be rushed to the hospital as fast as I could get there. We lived a little bit further out from the hospital, maybe I don't know, 20, 25 minutes, and we didn't have a phone. This is in the early 90s, and I did not have a house phone, or the late 90s, sorry. I didn't have a house phone, and the husband I had at the time, I was very, very young. It's when cell phones just started to come out, so we didn't own those. We didn't have a house phone, we didn't have a cell phone. And I had to run out of the house, get into the car with my child, and go to the nearest gas station. I'm holding my child in both of my hands. I don't remember who was there. I didn't see anybody else at the gas station. I saw my child and I saw that I needed help. I saw that he needed help. And so I ran in with my child into this gas station. It was an Allsups for anybody who lives in Texas who knows what those are. It was an Allsups, and I ran into there store and I laid my baby on the counter screaming, "Help me." I did not pay attention to the people that were around me. It doesn't make any sense. None. Pathetic. And it's weird because it's not just Diane Downs, right? There are people all over this country nowadays that are just they're often their children. Like like it don't mean anything. It's so dangerous. We're such a dangerous society. To be honest, this is not new. This has happened in the 80s. Thank you guys.
And flustered having somebody doing such thing in hospitals. And I told her to get the hell in there and get somebody out here to get my kid and call the cops. And she says, she just looked at me, and so I started to go in the hospital. I picked my arm up, it was pain, and I picked it up. I went in the hospital and I said, somebody go out there and get my kids out of the car. They've been shot.
There's no way that you have the type of adrenaline that you would have as a mother who just went through everything that you just went through and your arm even hurt. It wouldn't hurt. Thank you guys. I ran out the door at night with my child choking. Her dad called 911, but I'm screaming outside. A neighbor actually cleared her, and all was well, but that's how we act. Absolutely, Lisa, and I'm so sorry how scary that must have been for you. How very scary that must have been for you. You don't think about the fact that you're in pain. You just really don't. Yeah, you could lift a freaking car. I've seen that on the news. Women could lift a freaking car if they had to. I saw a cop in an interrogation, or not interrogation, in a body cam video not even 2 weeks ago, didn't even know this kid, runs up and sees that the lady was extracted from her car in a rollover accident. The lady's screaming for her baby, and this man runs back to the car and literally pushes that car over to get this baby that was thrown out from the car who's underneath it. Like, push this car over. This guy doesn't even know this baby or the lady. Diane's indifference about her kids' injuries is reminiscent of Suitcase Killer Lady when she found out George was still in the suitcase. Absolutely. Absolutely is. In that moment, Lisa, nothing matters but getting help. Yeah, nothing. You don't think about somebody being indignant to you or being frustrated because you're sitting on the horn. You could give one shit about that. And I'll be honest with you, I've never met a nurse in a place like that during an emergency that would have gave one shit that you were sitting on the horn. It happens a lot. Any nurse that I've ever run into can tell you there's lots of ways that people try to get your attention. If they need your attention, they need your attention. Somebody get out there and get my kids out of the car. They've been shot. So I wonder if there's anywhere that anybody has. I haven't seen anything on it yet. We're going to have to look through the transcripts. I wonder if any of the nurses or any of the doctors testified or any witnesses testified to her running in and screaming all of this stuff and making a big ruckus like she says she did.
And they did. They went out, and I went back out there, and they missed Cheryl. She was on the floorboard, and I said, there's another one on the front floorboard. She's under a sweater. And so somebody, the nurse,
Oh my freaking God. So you put her under a sweater? You knew she was dead. You knew she was dead. It wasn't like she was like Christy in the back seat where she was, as you say, drowning, and it wasn't like Danny who was moaning mom in the back. You knew she was deceased and you decided to put a sweater on top of her? Because I'm sheltered. I've sat inside ER waiting rooms and I never saw anything or anyone honk for staff to come out. I'm not saying it happens all the time. I'm not saying it happens all the time. I can't speak to that, obviously. But I know for a fact that I have been Presbyterian Hospital there in Dallas. I've seen people do some crazy stuff just to get their way into the emergency room as quick as they could. So it could be just me. I'm not saying it's everywhere. I shouldn't have said it like that. I'm sorry. I just know that if it was me, no matter what I had to do, I would roll it in there with whatever kind of, you know, voice I had to have to get somebody's attention. But, Presbyterian in Dallas is a sometimes it can be a 24-hour wait in the nursing or in the ER. So, it could be just me. But yeah, I think sometimes it probably happens. You don't hang out there a lot. I hope not. Yeah, I don't particularly care for hospitals unless I have to be there for some period of time. I prefer not to have to go.
to somebody that I picked her up. She's the one that died. And I went back in. I don't think they even knew that my arm was hurt. It was all right.
I cannot believe the way she said this. It's
And they
ridiculous.
did. They went out. I went back out there and they missed Cheryl. She was on the floorboard. And I said, there's another one on the front floorboard. She's under a sweater. And so somebody, a nurse or somebody went out and picked her up. She's the one that died. And I went back in. I don't think they even knew that my arm was hurt. It was all wrapped up. I was holding it. They probably just thought I was holding myself, in pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I told the lady, call the cops right away. And she
That's another thing. You would definitely not be sitting there thinking about calling the cops. And most people in a crisis refer to their children as my daughter, my little girl, or her name would probably be the last resort, but my daughter, my little girl. But she's under a sweater. The first thing that she mentions is the sweater, not the human being that's underneath. She's under a sweater. Whoever she is, she's under a sweater out there. And she put a physical barrier between her and her daughter while she was on her way to the hospital. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. No, absolutely could not relive this as she's telling it and not break down. Yeah, my babies. Something. She's compartmentalized before she even gets to the hospital. How do you do that? How do you do that? Didn't go back very far. They probably just thought I was holding myself, the pain, and
they probably just thought I was holding myself, in pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I told the lady, call the cops right away. And she called a couple other people first, but I kept sitting there saying, call. So finally she did. And she reported that there were 3 children that were shot. And then I finally told her, and I've been shot too. And she said, oh, okay.
yeah, don't forget about
And
me.
so they took the kids in. I went into the emergency room where they were working on them. Christy was just, Christy and Cheryl both, they were yellow. Have you seen a dead person?
Lots of them.
That's what I figured you probably had.
Lots.
But they looked dead. I saw a man a few months ago that hung himself. It was a neighbor. And he hung himself because of money problems or something. And I could see he was dead, and his wife just kept saying, John, you can't be dead. She kept trying to revive him, and I didn't have the heart to say, hey, Mary, he's dead. But I could see he was dead. His eyes and his color, his tongue was all swollen. He was dead.
This is insane to me. Oof. This took place in the hospital, nowhere near time to wrap her head around all that happened. No, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine it being a thought process. Killers who cover the face of their victims is nothing new. It's an indication the killer didn't want to watch the victim die and that they love or know the victim. Well, that and they also wanted to distance themselves from what she did. Absolutely. Absolutely content. Hey Teresa, nice to see you. Yeah, absolutely. Cold heartedness. Hell. Does she want to compare the skin tone? Yeah, I have no idea. Probably because of this. She has no empathy or conscience. I'm stumbling over my words. I'm a little angry at the moment.
dead. And that's just how Chris and Sherry were, just dead. I was devastated. It made me just sick. And Danny just kept crying, and I knew that was hope. I knew as long as he kept making a sound, he was okay. But when he was in the car, as soon as we got to the hospital, I laid on the horn and I got out, and I could see he was shot right to the middle of the back. And I just knew he'd been hit in the spine, but they said his legs worked, so that he wasn't paralyzed. That's just like pretty there. So anyway, in the emergency room, they were taking care.
So all of that nonchalantly. So anyway, like, let's just move on from that. I saw he was shot in the back and he's paralyzed from the neck or from the waist down. But anyway,
It made me just sick, and Danny just kept crying, and I knew that was hope. I knew as long as he kept making a sound, he was okay. But when he was in the car, as soon as we got to the hospital, I laid on the horn and I got out, and I could see he was shot right to the middle of the back. And I just knew he'd been hit in the spine, but they said his legs worked, so that he wasn't paralyzed. That's just like pretty there. So anyway, in the emergency room, they were taking care of the kids, and they were taking care of me pretty much, but I was mostly just answering questions, telling everybody. I don't even remember everybody's name, but everybody that was asking anything, I was trying to give an answer to. And then they wanted me to go back out to the scene and try to point out exactly where we were. And so I said, yeah, fine. And they said, we want you to know that it's dangerous if you go out. Something could happen, with my arm, because my arm hadn't been attended to at all. I said, let's just go. The sooner I show you where it's at, the sooner I can get fixed and better I'll feel. The longer we wait, the further away it's going to get. So I knew they were doing the best they could for my kids. They told me that Sherry was in pretty bad shape and probably might not make it. And I said, okay.
and you were going to leave the hospital and you were okay with leaving the hospital? You were like, she might not make it. Well, let's go out and find this guy. Probably the furthest thing from my mind would be worried about the guy. I've already gotten away from him. We'll deal with that later. But she's not going to make it. So, yeah, well, you might as well just go out and try to find the guy. Come on. Content says, yeah, it's not the first time she'll try to explain that Danny is not paralyzed because he can partially use his limbs. Oh, well, that makes it all better, doesn't it? She's such a crap. Hi, K-Swan. How are you? If you're in the ER, no one remembers anyone's name. Agreed. I hardly remember my own in a situation like this. Claiming he can move his limbs so he isn't paralyzed. She told Oprah he's not paralyzed, he's just in a wheelchair, and the audience groaned. Yeah, okay. She's such a piece of crap. From the word jump, literally.
So then they wrapped my arm up with something. So they put it on a metal splint, wrapped it up with gauze. And I went out with the officer, somebody, detective, I don't know who it was. I went with somebody and my dad. And I went out and showed him as close as I could to where we stopped. I also alerted them to the fact that there was a yellow car in the road because I had to go around it. It wasn't really off the road in the dirt. It was sort of half on, half off. And I said, wait a minute, there was a car back there. And he said, where? And I said, right back there. It was an old yellow kind of car, a medium-sized car. Not like the car that we were driving, which was big, but it was bigger than my car. You see my car below. Yes. Bigger than that, but it was smaller. So it's a medium-sized car. And it was yellow, a pinky old yellow color. And it was an older car. And it had been there, and it wasn't there now. And so I told him that. And I said, I don't know if it's his car. It could just be maybe some kids were parking there. Maybe they were necking. Who knows?
You say a pinky old car is like it's oxidized, or is it a pale yellow?
Like a pale yellow.
Okay. Is it a ratty looking car? Or, we call ratty cars. I mean, eat up.
Like dented.
And not well taken care of.
It was not well taken care of, but it wasn't really dented up either from what I could see. I didn't notice it. I mean, who really looks at a car on the road? It was just an older looking car. It didn't look like it had been any major wreck or anything.
If it had a plate from out of state on it, do you think you would have?
No, I wouldn't have noticed it because I'm from out of state. And for all I know, everything is from out of state up here. All the Oregon plates still look strange to me. I still have Arizona plates on my car.
Right.
So isn't that strange for me to see us? And where I come from, everybody does. In Arizona, snowbirds. So I would not have noticed the place.
So in the interrogation, obviously, well, it's not interrogation at the time because she wasn't under arrest, but during the what they do call it a bedside interrogation, she over explains everything. Everything from start to finish, just like she does in the parole hearing. But this is the very first day, the very first couple of hours after the shooting. And she has over explained the situation to try to confuse people from jump. It was dark, but she knows a lot about the yellow car, right? I've heard repeatedly that psychopaths believe everyone thinks like they do. I guess the same could be said that I think sane people think that a lot of us sane people are thought, our thought processes are the same. So I can see how that might be a thing. Whatever, whoever determines what sane is, but yeah, such detail. A couple of hours after your kids are shot, and you don't think one of them's going to make it, but you left the hospital to go out to the scene. No freaking way, man. Don't you all think she sounds less angry way back then than she did during the parole hearing? Oh yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. In my opinion, she sounds way angrier now. She's had years and years to, perfect her role in her own drama series. She's probably mad that they're going to keep her there.
So my dad asked me the same thing. He asked if there was a different state. Like, there's a lot of Washington plates down here. And I just don't recall. I didn't look. And so, anyway, I said, well, the car was right back there. I told him as close as I could to where I thought the car was parked. And there was a house out there, and it was right past the house, just before the trees. That's where the car was. And as we got past that, just a little ways, when it started curving like that, that's where the guy was. And I don't know if he was walking away or walking to me, because when I got there, he was already standing in the road flagging. And so I don't know which way he was walking at all. And
What does
so
that
I
have to
told
do with the price of tea in China? Which way he was walking, where he was going, where he came from, none of that even matters. None of that even matters. There's a bushy haired man on the side of the road and he shot my kid. None of this even matters. Why are we talking? Go find this man. If it was true, go find him. Why are you asking me all these questions? I gave you everything I knew.
him all that. And then,
What would you describe him? Yeah.
yeah, okay, he's about 5'9", and I assume that because my ex-husband is about 5'8" or 5'9", and he's just about that height. I'm real bad with heights and measurements, I want you to know that.
Okay.
But he's about 5'9". He was medium build, but pushing towards being a little bit heavy. So we assume probably 150 to 170. And because my ex-husband is about 145 and he was heavier than Steve. He had darkish hair, but not.
Ha, ha, bitch, I'm telling you right now, there's no way, with all of the panic and everything that you said was going on, the chaos that was going on, that you were like, yeah, he's about 145. He definitely wasn't as heavy as my ex-husband. Like, yeah, doesn't make any sense that he would just shoot the kid and disappears. First of all, what would have been the motive? Him wanting her car, he could have taken the car. He could have shot her and taken the car if that was actually the truth. Yeah, there's no way any of us. I mean, in the 80s, I will say that there were times, like I said, my dad used to people would stick their thumbs out on the side of the road. I mean, we talk about Dahmer. I mean, that's how he got a lot of people to get in his car. Well, the first guy, that's how he got in his car. But a lot of people hitchhiked back then. But I wouldn't do it now. I didn't want my daddy to do it then. It scared me to death. Don't be flagging us down. And there's my dad. He'll pull up, side of the road. Which way you headed? Like he could have chopped us up. He had darkish hair, but not black. He was not short, but he wasn't tall. He was not white, but he wasn't black. Thank you very much for the content. I think I can come up with a sketch off of your description.
black. It was like a brown, dark brown, whatever. His face was kind of stubbly. Not like a beard, not like he had a beard, but like he hadn't shaved in a couple of days or so. His hair was kind of shaggy looking, like it had been cut in a shag, but not brushed out properly. His voice was, it wasn't high, it wasn't low, it was just a voice, just no accents, no lisps. Nothing that would distinguish him outwardly from anybody else. He was wearing a t-shirt that was a light color, but it wasn't pure white. It wasn't something that would glow in the dark.
She's literally got to be making this up as she goes. It wasn't light, but it wasn't white. This is dumb. It wasn't a glow in the dark type. A mullet. Yeah, she's got to be making it up as she goes. So much detail.
So I don't know if it was dirty or if it was a pastel or what, like maybe a beige, I don't know. And he had Levi jacket on and a pair of blue jeans.
Were those the old faded out type, or were they newer looking?
No, they were just older. Not, I think, did you see the Levi's I was wearing?
Yes.
They had holes in them and stuff. I mean, I like old comfortable. They weren't quite that comfortable. They weren't holy or anything like that, but they were not real brand new.
Medium blue then,
Yeah.
not bright. You know how they are when they're brand new.
No, they weren't brand new. Okay, let's see what else. That describes him pretty well. Okay, so back to the scene. I showed them where everything was. And the guy that I was with drove to a couple of houses and looked around. My dad noticed we drove it in one yard. And my dad is a pretty observant person. He tries to watch everything. And when we drove up in somebody's yard, there was a light on upstairs. And when we pulled up in the yard, it went off. And my dad mentioned it. I know the policeman mentioned it. Wasn't there a light on up there before? And my dad said, yeah, there was. So my dad kept watching the window where the policeman or the detective, whoever he was talking on his little phone, and I was sitting there just watching everything. And the reason we were there is because there were horses out in the field.
What is her damn obsession with the horses?
Gaslighter, denier, doing anything to get your ass farther.
Nobody cares.
Literally. She triggered you so you just ate at Long John's? Like Long John Silver's? You were married with kids in the early 80s. You would have never picked up a hitchhiker either. Me too. She's a horse's ass. That was a good one, Mustang. Thank you. That was a good one. What's a Long John? Not the donut, right? You're talking about Long John Silver's, right? Like the fish place? Oh, 2 Long John donuts. Oh, okay. She triggers you. Stay away from the donuts.
And I never thought of this, but he says, I asked him how many dogs were going to be out looking, because I only saw one dog, and I just didn't think a dog would sniff very far, one dog. And he says, well, there's horses here. And I says, don't tell me a horse can sniff out a person. He goes, no, but a horse, if he tried to sneak through the field, a horse would be spooked. Whereas maybe we couldn't see him, the horse would sense him, which made a lot of sense. So that's why we're there, to see if the horses were spooking, which they weren't. And so my dad said, hey, that light's back on. And I looked up there and it was. And I just said, that's it. I ducked down in the seat. I said, one shot's enough. I'm not being anybody's fair target anymore. So I slunched down in the seat and the light went off again. And
does it infuriate anybody else, the laughing, the little snickers in between? She is infuriating. A Long John is a donut. Well, we have Long John Silver's. I thought he was talking about a fish place. Maple donut. That's my husband's favorite too. Yeah, why is she laughing? Southern Cats, you and I are on the same wavelength. Like this bitch. Putting my recycling together and getting ready for my bed dryer tomorrow. Sweet roll with frosting, not round, but long. You know, that's what I thought. Apparently, these are the long johns. Long johns. All different types of long johns. A $98 long john? That's craziness. Long johns. But there is also a restaurant. It's called Long John Silver's. They serve fish and chips. You guys are funny. Long Johnsons are thermals. We call them eclairs. And long johns with a trapdoor in the butt when I lived in Winnipeg, where we got 40 below in January. They're funny. The fish restaurant. Arkansas has Long John Silver's. We have one here. We have one too. Y'all don't have one? Whoa, whoa. Oh, that threw me off. Your dad called long underwear long johns? Yeah, my husband does too. You want one now? Of what content was talking about? Or the donut? Correct. Oh my goodness.
We laughed. To me, that's kind of crazy. I would have, if I was a policeman, I think I would have at least knocked on the door because he lived out there and those were his friends anyway. I would have knocked and said, at least, are you guys? I mean, sure, husbands and wives turn the lights on and off a lot. I used to. You got after you finish fooling around or whatever, you get cleaned up. So maybe that was it. But I don't think anybody feels like a fool knocking on the door if there's something serious. But he did. He said he'd come back later and check it out. So maybe he did that.
Probably did. I think
He wanted
maybe
to get
he wanted
me
to
out
get
of
you
there.
back to the
Yeah.
hospital.
He did because we were on our way and then he wanted to stop and see the horses. So I told him, hey, I've told you all I can out here.
You have a daughter that you do not know is going to live or die at the hospital, and he wanted to stop and see the horses, Diane. Do you know how pathetic that must have sounded to that detective from the beginning? I cannot with you.
And my arm is really starting to hurt. So, yeah, he took me up to 322 my time. So he took me up to where you were up by the bridge. And then I went with you, and then he went back. So maybe at that time he did check it out. I'm sure he must have, because he lives in that area, he said, and those were his neighbors. So I'm sure he probably did. But, I went back to the hospital, and I tried to sneak in and see my kids, and they stopped me. So, yeah. Thank you. Okay. I did. Thank you very much. And so I had to sit down. They came and told me that, no bad habits like that. No, you smoke it, don't chew gum. They came, and after this, everything happened so fast and so many things.
Well, we sat down and had a lot of questions to ask you, for
Okay.
sure.
Oh, yeah, we talked, but we went down and took x-rays, and we were talking there also. They did some tests on me. Then we went, after x-rays, we went back to an examination room. They wanted to see if I'd been hit anyplace else. And while we were in there, they told me that Christy had died. And Then I was really confused because the way they had described it before, I knew how my kids were on the tables. Christy was here, Diane was here, and Cheryl was here. And they said the little girl on this table, Cheryl's table, was not making it. And so when they told me that Christy had died, I was crushed because, as I said, Christy's my favorite. But
Holy hell! Are you fucking kidding me? Do y'all have favorites in your kids that you would ever say out loud? Like, maybe you have 3 kids and your oldest is a boy. He didn't give you no trouble, easy to raise. And then you got like your 2 little girls, and the youngest is just like she's the sweetheart baby. She was the one that was the surprise. And so the 2 older kids help you take care of the younger one, like that kind of thing. Like where you're just like, she's not the favorite, but she's favored. She's blessed. She's favored because she's got all of you that want to take care of her. But you don't have a favorite. Yeah. A lot of times there are some families that are like that, Mustang, that where families have, a favorite. Grandparents sometimes, or aunts or uncles, sometimes have their favorites. But typically in parents, I don't know. I just don't. I I would have been devastated had I thought that I was not. I don't know. I wasn't a daddy's girl, so I guess I can't even really say that. But I wasn't not favored. I wasn't the favorite, but I wasn't not favored. So I don't know what that feels like. And I have raised an only child because, as I've said before, I lost my first one. And my middle child, I have him, and I lost my last one. So I've raised an only child. So he is absolutely my favorite. You wouldn't even tell your pets that who's the favorite. Yeah. Yeah, my dogs would be like, "Excuse me?" I agree, Abellas. They're like kids to us, though. Certainly not while they were in the hospital fighting for their lives. Absolutely. Was favored in some ways, but each of my siblings were favored in their own way. I was a daddy's girl. See, that's magic. That's magic. Favored, that's different. When you say that you were favored, I have a little brother and he's favored. He's my favorite. I love both of my brothers, but he's my favorite out of my 2 brothers. But not in a way that I don't love the other one. You know what I mean? He was very favored. He just was kind of like my baby doll. He was 8 years younger than me, and so when he was born, he was just like my baby doll. I was 8. I had a baby to carry around. It was awesome. My mom was always looking, where's the baby? Well, he has got him. That's crazy. I can't. She just said that. That was appalling, to say the least.
on the tables, Christy was here, Diane was here, and Cheryl was here. And they said the little girl on this table, Cheryl's table, was not making it. And so when they told me that Christy had died, I was crushed because, as I said, Christy's my favorite. But I was confused too because Christy wasn't the one they said wasn't making it. But
Wait, what? Hold on. Hold on.
but I was confused too because Christy wasn't the one.
Wait. You just tripped up, Ho. Hold on. Trying to talk fast.
I was really confused because the way they had described it before, I knew
I know how my kids were on the
how my
tables.
kids were on the tables. Christy was here, Diane was here, and Cheryl was here.
Christy was here, Danny was here, and Cheryl was here. So Christy's the middle, Danny's the youngest, and Cheryl's the oldest. Yeah, she tripped up on what she was going to say, right, Teresa? Did you hear that? She's going to trip up.
And they said the little girl on this table, Cheryl's table, was not making it.
And look at the distance. Look at the distance. The little girl on this table, Cheryl's table, was not making it. The little girl, not my daughter, not my child, my baby. The little girl on the table. Exactly. Not my Cheryl, not my Christy, nothing. So depersonalized. This is so when we were going over the parole board hearing, they talked about when they had done some psychological evaluations on her over the years, and the guy asked her, do you think, or maybe been the girl, I can't remember which one of the two, but do you think that it is impossible for you to admit these things because of the personality disorder? You're incapable of comprehending what it is that we see. You're incapable of telling the truth. That your mind just won't let you tell the truth. Absolutely. Infuriating.
And so when they told me that Christy had died, I was crushed, because as I said, Christy's my favorite, but I was confused too, because Christy wasn't the one they said wasn't making it, but I sort of accepted it because Christy was the one that quit choking in the car. She was the one that was suffocating, and I could believe that she was dead. I kept saying, I want to see him, because I wanted to see who the hell was dead. Who was it? You want to know who to mourn for.
No, you wanted to make sure that you killed the right one. See, this leads me to believe that she intentionally killed the one and shot the other two, was hoping that she shot them in a place where they wouldn't be able to tell the other two, wouldn't be able to tell the story. It just makes me think that she shot the oldest one on purpose to take her life. Doesn't it sound like that to you guys? Is that just me? And then it was like I kind of just accepted it, like, oh damn, well, got the wrong one. How unbearable this woman. So she wouldn't have been crushed if the others had died just slightly upset. Yeah, she just accepted it. She just accepted it. It is what it is. She got the wrong one. So she'd know who to mourn for. Fully believe she would have tried to finish the job if she were unsupervised in the hospital. But but Teresa, why didn't she do it before she went to the hospital? You think that she thought one bullet was going to take out all three of them? That just the shot was going to take out all three of them? And that's why she was driving so slow, because she was just hoping that it would be done with before she got to the hospital? I don't know. It kind of leads me to believe that she thought the oldest was, like, she knew for sure that Cheryl was gone, but she was going to be devastated that Christy wasn't? That Christy was still around? You think she wanted them all gone, but now she's worried because she knows Christy saw her do it? That's a good possibility. I believe she thought they were gone by the time she got there. That's a possibility. Maybe she thought that they were just all going to be done for.
who you're supposed to cry for. And they kept saying, it was Christy. And I said, okay. I was distraught. And then somebody else came in, a doctor or somebody came in and said, the preacher, pastor or whatever, the chaplain came in and said that Cheryl had passed on. And I'm going, who is it? And he says, well, your father identified it as Cheryl. So then I knew that, because I said, that does it. You take me, I want to see who is alive. I don't want to see who's dead. I want to see who's alive. And he says, well, your father's already identified the dead girl as Cheryl. So then I knew that.
Oh my Jesus Christ in the sky with this one. Your father's already identified the dead girl.
My dad knows my kids. And after they came out, I know who it really was. And I can believe it because she already made a sound or moved the whole time we were driving. So they said that she was dead when she got there and they just never could bring her back. So that's why they said she wasn't going to make it,
100%.
they couldn't bring her back at all. Which, it,
She is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Your dad's already identified the dead girl as Cheryl. That is so shocking. That tone, the word choice, the mechanics of how she delivers it. That's one of the clearest examples of emotional detachment in this entire case. It has to be. What am I saying? It's funny. What did I say? The kids might have played possum in the car after she shot them like kids do. Yeah, I said that. I believe that. It's probably could be the case. What did I say? She sure did. She snickered or laughed or something. Why didn't she identify her daughter? Why did they ask her dad to do it? It wasn't a chore. It wasn't a chore to identify her daughter.
I know she didn't suffer at least, and that's good. Because now the rest of us, we're going on, and I've got to go home and tell Chris and Cheryl, and Chris and Danny that Cheryl's not here. And Chris, my God, I don't know how long she's going to be here.
Be safe.
She looks so bad, but they say she's going to be okay. And they say that I was talking to my brother, and he works in a hospital, and his girlfriend is a recovery nurse or something like that. I don't know, she does something. And so she sees her all the time, and she says if Christy's answering questions, whether they're conscious or subconscious, if she's aware of enough that she's shaking her head or her head yes or no, then she's okay. Her mind is okay, which is great. Yeah, because she's so smart. She's almost a genius. She's just super, super smart.
I don't believe that for a gosh darn second that any of the nurses, especially family, would tell her that as long as she's shaking her head, yes, she's going to be okay. No, not even in the 80s. I'm not that person either. It does absolutely take a ton of strength or integrity to be a child detective because I would smash this bitch into the floor like Hulk. Hulk smash. I'd be done with you. I'd be like, it would be like good cop, but I'd be like bad cop. So don't leave me alone in a room with her and make sure there's no recording if you do. Allegedly, I might do something like that. The doctor may have mistakenly thought maybe the mom would have been so traumatized that the grandfather would be a better choice. How wrong that is. Yeah, yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine, to be honest with you, I can't imagine having my father identify my children in the morgue. I can't imagine putting my father through that, much less knowing that, well, she just didn't make any noise and pretty much she was a goner from the beginning. I can't even imagine that callousness, but then bringing your father into it and having him identify your child. I wouldn't have put my parents in that position ever. Bad cop, that's me. She's almost a genius.
And it would just be devastating to think that she wouldn't be that way again. But anyway, so I did. The first time I finally knew for a fact that it was really Cheryl that was gone was what night did I tell you? Thursday. Wednesday morning, whenever they finally brought me to my room, they had told me before they took me to my room that I could see the kids, and I made them keep that promise.
Friday.
Yeah, early Friday, about 4 o'clock or something. And I got to see Christy, then I knew for sure that it was Sherry that was gone. And my parents, I think my parents came in to see me. I don't remember when it was, but my mom was asking me Cheryl's favorite color. She's going to buy a dress. We're going to have a small service for her. And she wanted to buy Cheryl a new dress. Cheryl loved new dresses. And so I told her red, but I've been thinking I want it to be white. I mean, she's such a good kid.
That's wacky nonsense.
I okay. She did, but you notice how she says that in present tense right there. She's such a good kid. That's so weird. This girl is infuriating. Back and forth on the mentals, man. Back and forth on the mentals. Can you imagine what she would say if she had identified Cheryl? Yeah, no. She doesn't grasp that her language is giving her away. And I just wonder if the detective saw through her BS from the beginning or not. I don't know the answer to that yet. I'm sure some of you out here do. The way she said, but anyway, after talking about her, yeah, about how Christy may not be the same again, exactly how Robert Durst talked. He described something gory and then say, but anyway, yeah, disgusting. A lot is wrong with her. I'd venture to say a lot. If you guys don't mind, would you please hit that like button while you're in here hanging out with me and subscribe if you haven't? I would really appreciate that.
This should be one. She's an angel now. So. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, then after that,
Oh, she just turned it right back off. She was like, it should be white. She's an angel anyway. She's an angel now anyway. Oh, anyway, so I've just been going through these emotions every day. Like, really. Thank you very much for that content. Yeah, like the time change. Time to change the subject. Just like from 1 minute to the next.
I've just been going through the motions every day. You talk to people, you talk to old friends, it takes your mind off of everything.
Okay, let's go back to the day this happened. Did you have anything to drink that day?
No, I didn't.
Alcohol?
I like whiskey, but I haven't had any whiskey. And the last time I went to see Nick was a month ago, I think, almost a month ago. I don't know, it's in my diary somewhere, but it's at least 3 weeks ago. And I got real drunk that time. I spent the evening at my ex-husband's house. I had not been long, so I had a lot to drink.
How long ago was that?
About 3 weeks ago.
So,
And that was in
you went back to
Arizona.
Arizona?
Yeah, I was in
Okay.
Arizona when I did that.
but
But I
that
came
day,
back. No, I haven't had anything to drink in 3 weeks.
were you on any kind of drugs or medication
No.
or anything like that at the
No.
time? Okay.
I have smoked pot a few times in my life, but it's also been quite a while since I've done that. But lately, the kids and I have been so into doing things that I haven't. The reason that I drink and the reason that I, on occasion, smoke is when I feel lonely and depressed. And I guess that's the case with most people, but that's why I would do it. And so I never really drank when the kids were around at all. It was like on Friday night when Mom would take the kids, and I'd be alone in the house sitting and thinking and wondering why the hell Nick isn't here or whatever, because he had promised we were going to be mates and we were going to raise the kids and everything was going to be just fine. And I couldn't understand why all that was.
Who's Nick? Who's Nick? Who the heck is Nick? It's just gonna keep saying it till I find out. Nick is one of the critical. Wait a minute. Who was Nick? The role of Nick Lewiston? Oh, Robert Lewiston. That she calls him Nick? That's Robert Knickerbocker? Is this the first time we hear about him? Yeah, I think this is the first time we're going to hear about. Uh, Thank you very much, Jenny. Consider scribing. We have lots of good times over here. I really appreciate that. Every day, what a revelation. The rest of us exist daily with emotions. Absolutely, we do. 100%. Bellis, thank you. Thank you so much for the 20 gifted True Crime Guardian memberships. That's amazing. Thank you. Let me see if I can open this up to the thing and see if it actually told us who got them this time. Because we never get to know anymore. Go over here. Down to the chat. Hello? There we go. There we go. Yay. It did tell me. It did tell me. Oh, Kane's Nana got one. Thank you so much, Abellas. Forrest Nelson, Tempest, Kalisa got one. I am not golden hair. Content. The question was, did you have anything to drink that day? Yeah, she went all around it. Anders got one. Beth, the boss lady, plant based. Viperin, I recognize as a mod for, well, the thing is, aka Eddie. I recognize him from over there. Tammy Mayfield. Bella says absolutely a rock star. Petunia Picklebutt. Nana. Corey Edwards. A name here. Yay. My cat's mom. Joe Hughes and Irene Little Poplar. Gammy got one. I haven't seen Gammy in a minute. And Scooby Snack. Abella's making it rain. Thank you so much, Abellas. Thank you. You're so very good to this channel and you're so appreciated. Thank you so very much. You go say thank you properly. And welcome all the new true crime guardians. This woman lost her daughter and has no idea of the anguish. None. Welcome all the new members. Thank you, Abellas. One of her boyfriends. It's Robert Knickerbocker. Nick. Knickerbocker. Nick. She calls him Nick. Isn't that crazy? It shows them on the phone. Abellas. You green. You green. You look great in green. We're greenies. You didn't get zapped. You are still here, and we are so grateful for it. Abellas, thank you. I really appreciate you. So Nick was Robert Knickerbocker, often shortened to Nick. He worked with Diane at the U.S. Post Office in Chandler, Arizona. This is the first time we are hearing about Nick. He's married, but aka turbulent marriage. The married boyfriend who doesn't want children, not interested in having children, not interested in raising anyone else's children. And he is deeply conflicted, or was at the time, about his affair with Diane. Their relationship consumed Diane emotionally and psychologically. Yes, much like Suzanne Smith. They say she was obsessed over him. He wasn't just a fling, he was like the center of her entire fantasy life, which you see all over her diary entries over that time period. He was the man she wanted to marry, but in reality, Nick told Diane he wanted to end the affair. He wanted out badly. He told her he would not leave his wife. He made it clear he did not want her children or to be involved with any other children. He didn't want to have children. He said he did not want a relationship with a woman who had kids. He was uncomfortable with Diane's intensity, which Diane obviously did not accept emotionally. Instead, she treated it like a temporary setback or a challenge, if you will. A challenge. So much like everything else in her life, I think he represented romance and freedom and a way for her to find a new identity, likely. And if she could find that life without the responsibilities of her children, she wouldn't feel trapped anymore. And maybe he would validate her obsession with him. I'm listening, but I'm trying to figure out this red bubble. Okay, we're here, Ace. Don't you worry about it at all. We will be right here. Wow. All right, let's see what else she says about Nick.
different, and that's when I would drink. It's like Friday nights when the kids with my mom, because I'm a real conscientious mother, and I despise people that are lax in raising their kids, that can allow themselves to get drunk when their kids are around, because you can't tell when an emergency is going to arise, and the kid will need care, and you aren't able to do it. That's to me, that's very immature. So I didn't do that around my kids. So, like I said, the kids and I for the past few weeks have just been hanging out and doing stuff together, and I haven't had a time to really do it or even want to do it. I got to the point that even in my book, I told Nick, I think I love the kids even more than you. And
What about that area out there?
What did she just freaking say? Like I said, the kids and I for the past few weeks have just been hanging out and doing stuff together.
and I haven't had a time to really do it or even want to do it. I got to the point that even in my book, I told Nick, I think I love the kids even more than you.
What? What kind of shit show was she performing there in front of these detectives? In my book, she's saying like from my point of view, because she didn't have a book yet, so she's not literal. You better love your kids more than you love some piece of ass. Absolutely, Orange. Why would she say that? I don't know. Thanks for clearing that up. And look at how good I am. I'm such a devoted mama. I'm the kind of woman who puts my kids first. Already building that reputation up. She knew he didn't want a woman with children. So what does she do? She'll say something motherly to like mask the reality that she already knew that Nick didn't want anything to do with her and her children. Her children were obstacles. If she did, oh, so that's her telling the police. I mean, I said I loved my kids more than I loved Nick. I mean, I think that they knew she was gonna be ousted on this. They had to have known. Like if they know about him and all of this stuff. I mean, if they may not have knew right then, but they're bound to know at some point eventually that the way that she put that narration out there is that why would you even have to defend that? Why would you even have to defend a mother's love? It wouldn't even be something that people would say unless you had already thought this through and thought in your head somewhere, I think I love Nick more than I love my children. Yeah, Mom of the Year award goes to.
And
What about that area out there? How many times have you driven?
I've never been out there. I've been out to Marcola once. I went to Heather's house once, no, twice. Once I went out there with her and my dad the first day that I got to Oregon to take her home, and it was at night, and I didn't know area, and I didn't even know where we were. The second time I went was about 3 weeks ago. I drove straight out there and talked to Heather. She didn't have a phone, and I talked to her about coming into work, and then I came back. And
So that was the third trip you.
so that was the third trip, yeah. And that we took a different way. We took the back way this time.
How do you describe the back way?
Sunderman Road goes like this, and I can.
So that was your third trip out there. The first trip you made to take her home as soon as you moved to Oregon. The second trip you made out there. This is the third trip you made out there in the dark. You didn't know where you were going, but you took the back way. She gets tripped up so quickly and so easily. Yeah, I've never been out there, but now I've been out there 3 times. And the first time it was dark and I didn't know where I was going. And the second time I went out there, and then the third time I went out there, but I took the back way home.
Never remember the name Sunderman until I see it.
It goes off at the bridge there and
it curves back.
Back around on the main highway.
Right.
How did you go in?
Okay, the first time I went all the way up Marcola just before the bridge, and then you turn, and the name is Sunderman. And I can never, like I said, I can never remember the name until I see it on the post, and then I know that that's the turning point. When we were coming up, I knew that we were kind of close, but it was starting to get kind of dusky out, and so I wasn't real sure of the trees and the site, the land areas. So I wasn't positive where to turn, and I knew there was supposed to be a bridge, but I wasn't sure where. And then all of a sudden I saw the word Sunderman. I said, well, that's it. So I turned, and I'm going, you guys, this isn't the road. And they're going, well, let's turn around and go back. And they're always full of help. And I said, no, I know Sunderman is the name. And so we just kept going and going. And then I realized we finally got to Heather's house, and I said, that was the back road. It takes a lot longer, but that was the back way. It seemed longer maybe because we didn't know where we were going. So.
Is that Heather Plurd?
Yeah. She's a real sweet kid. She came in to see me yesterday. She went to work, and she just said, guys, I can't do it. Because we started there at the same time. She tried to get on at my dad's post office and work, but Eugene hired her first. And she's real sweet. We got kind of close because we started the same day, 2 subs in a new city. And so.
When did you start there?
I started in Eugene about 7 or 8 weeks ago. And then an opening came up in Cottage Grove, which is a real small town, and you get a lot more experience. You get to cover a lot more area, clerk work, carrier work, and 204B work, which is a supervisor.
All right. In and out, in and out. So this is what they say about Heather Plurd. They say that she was not technically a friend. She was not technically a friend or anybody that was actually tied to her. She was more of just the employee side. The matter matters because they think that she fabricated this whole thing about bringing this thing out to her friend, and she's a sweet kid, and that, you know I'm sure that we'll learn more. We will learn more about her later. We are going to stop for the night on this first bedside interrogation, and we will pick up tomorrow with part 2. We've been live for almost 2.5 hours tonight, and I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out with me on both the regular and vertical live, of which is quite complicated, but I think I'll get the hang of it. Abellis, let me say thank you one more time for the 20 gifted memberships. I really do appreciate you in all the ways that I can show appreciation. I really do. Thank you so very much. All right, and I am going to close us out with our Guardians of Firelight song, and I will see you all tomorrow night, same place, probably 30 minutes earlier, same place, same time.
Found the flame in the silence when the world forgot our names. Whispers turned to promise. In the dark we stayed the same. Ashes carried stories, falling stars and sleepless nights. Every scar became our glory, every shadow fed the light. We are the ones who guard the fire, through the smoke and through the fight. Bound by truth, by heart, by wire. We keep the echoes burning bright. No crown, no fame, no higher name, just sparks that cut the endless night. We are the guardians of firelight.